What's up guys, DuArktik with another Moral Strike Force video, and in this video we are back to talk about the X-Men rework. We're gonna take a look at which are the best T4s for them, the best ISO weight, and how much should you gear up these characters, where they are going to impact the game, and in a future video we might finally see which teams Scopely wanted us to use, wanted us to put together with these reworks. It's not like clear right away which was the combos they want to do, but I think I finally figured out. I just need to do a few more testing and then we'll see for sure. But in this video we're going to break down all the information that you need to know in order for you to prepare to use this team. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so I still want to do a video. I have the video done already with the kind of kits I would like to see for these characters. I will update that soon. I just want to upload it on Sunday because not a lot of people around on Sunday. And this that we have now, what we are going to talk about in this video, as always, we'll have an infographic which you can find on my Discord, which it's on specific session on the teams of 2024, which is, this one is going to be part of it. And as always, it has the T4s, it has the ISO weight that you should use, also the characters you should prioritize investing the most gear, and the best game modes that where you can use these characters. And this might change in the future. Like I said, I think I finally figured out the teams that Scopely wants us to use, and the value that we see here might be increased. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that video. Okay, so we're gonna start off with Colossus. And Colossus is part of the Uncanny, but now he gives some buffs to the other characters as well. Speaking of his T4s, right now he has a very powerful basic with a slow defense down and also offense down. The T4 only increases damage of the basic a little bit, and the offense down for 2 turns is nice, but depending on which characters you are using together with Colossus, this might be unnecessary. Then we have the special. Right now the special is very powerful because it's going to give to Colossus 2 counters, which after you can extend with the ultimate, and also 1 counter and defense up for all X-Men allies. And this is going to be extremely important when you take a look at the ultimate. So this T4 on the special is definitely one of the most important ones on Colossus. The ultimate of Colossus has a secret function that is not on the description. So on the description it says it calls Kitty Pryde for assist. If there is no Kitty Pryde, it calls another X-Men ally to assist. But when you actually do the T4, it gets another function. Prolongs the positive effects on all X-Men allies from 1 to 5. And this right away tells you which characters you should pair up with Colossus. So once again, this is going to increase immensely the value of the special and the value of the ultimate. It has this secret function that it's not in the description. So the ultimate is also a great T4. And then we have the passive, defense up on spawn for 2 turns for all X-Men allies. And also we have increased damage on the charge. And if you have your Colossus big enough, this damage on the charge can actually hurt quite a lot. So I would definitely do the special and the ultimate. Passive maybe if you don't have any other character giving defense up, and the basic is the one that you can skip. Even that is not the worst T4 if you have him like super gear up, and if you also have Colossus as a striker. We're gonna move on to the next character, which is going to be Jubilee. And on Jubilee basic you increase the chance of blind from 50% to 70%, and this is also works with assist and also with the striker ISO weight. So if you want to make sure that she's applying blinds all the time, you have to do this T4 on the basic, and all the time is 70% chance, so 70% chance never happens. With the special, she's going to apply offense up to all X-Men characters, and we actually don't have a lot of sources of offense up with these characters. Gain assist from all X-Men allies, all astonishing X-Men allies, and also assist from other characters as well for 50% damage. It's okay, it's not a super important T4. The best part is really applying offense up to all characters, but because Jubilee is super slow, this might not come into play often enough. Then we have the ultimate. The ultimate does more damage to all targets, does more piercing damage to all targets, does additional damage to secondary targets, which is all targets. But the best part about the T4 on the ultimate is really the turn rewind on the primary target by 10%, because she also applies slow. This 10% has 50% more value, so instead of 25%, you're actually doing 32.5% rewind in terms of speed value. And this is probably the best T4 for Jubilee because of this, together with a special. Now with the ultimate, you get 5% more health to all X-Men characters, which is not a lot, and 10% more damage in raids. No one is using these characters on raids. I'm not sure why they changed this. It's absolutely dumb, but yeah, you can skip the passive. You should definitely do the ultimate, you should definitely do the basic, and the special, it's up to you. I think it's important, especially depending if you are on a team that have a lot of offense subs or not, because she might be the necessary element for that buff. Moving on to Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is probably one of the best characters that got a rework. And at low gear, she does impressive stuff, so I cannot imagine how good she's gonna be with a lot of gear. Hopefully you'll have that chance in the future. In terms of T4s, the basic now with the T4 is going to give speed up to Colossus for 2 turns, and another X-Men ally that does not have speed up for 2 turns as well. It's dumb. Like, this T4 is so dumb, I really cannot explain how good it is. And it has so much value, especially with characters like Jubilee, Colossus that are very slow. This speed up makes a huge difference, and it also activates on Jubilee assist or striker eyes await for Kitty Pryde. So we could see Kitty Pryde being a skirmisher or a striker just because of how powerful her basic is. The special is going to give her more speed bar, more damage to the enemies, and apply evade to the most injured allies. So the value is really on the speed bar for herself, and also the evade on the injured allies, increasing her support value and also her speed. The ultimate, more piercing damage, it's not super important. Once again, we have apply evade to the most injured ally. This together with other characters is going to be super powerful. And then we have our ultimate that in raids applies evade to one injured ally on enemy turn. And in War and Crucible, she has 20% chance of applying evade to most injured X-Men allies. So 20% is not a lot, but this is on each enemy turn. So if you are facing enemies that have a lot of summons, or enemies that go very fast, you have a higher chance of applying these evades, which is a good thing. It's not like amazing, but it's not a good thing. Now, the T4s that I would do for Kitty Pryde is definitely the basic and the special, then maybe the ultimate, and I would definitely skip the passive. It's unreliable. Like, it's nice to have, but it's very unreliable. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next character, which is going to be Phoenix and Dark Phoenix. On the basic, she does more damage, nothing else. On the special, if this character has 2 or more X-Men allies, she's gonna spread negative effects on herself and throw it to the enemy. And it spreads ability block, it spreads blind, so it can be interesting enough. Then we have the ultimate that clears negative effects on the enemies, clears positive effects on the allies. It clears all kinds of things. Clears positive effects on the enemies, clears negative effects on the allies. The problem with this ability is that very long cooldown for no reason, and Phoenix actually stays alive all the time now, so I really wish they would make her basic more powerful, because the ultimate alone is just not enough. But yeah, then we have the passive for Phoenix. This is a must-have passive. 20% more damage for her, 10% more damage for X-Men allies, and 10% more damage for uncanny allies. This is a very powerful passive, especially depending on which characters you put together with her. Okay, so this is Phoenix. In terms of T4s for Phoenix, none of them are very impressive, apart from the passive and the special. The thing is that the T4s for Dark Phoenix are the same that you have for Phoenix. So we have to take a look at Dark Phoenix and see which T4s she's gonna need. So on the basic, normal damage attacks multiple targets, but normal damage really compromises this ability. Then we have the special is going to apply regeneration to all allies and is going to give speed up for Phoenix. This is very, very powerful. This is a must-have T4. And then we have the ultimate. When you do the ultimate, if you have 2 or more X-Men allies, you're going to get 3 more energy. And this 3 energy will allow you to do the special once again after the first turn. And then we have the passive applies defense down for 2 turns. This is absolutely must have. And on spawn, if this character has more characters in stealth, then you are going to also gain stealth. So in terms of this, we already know that we have to do the passive. We already know that we have to do the special. Do we also have to use the ultimate? Yes, absolutely must have T4 on the ultimate. The T4 you can skip for Phoenix and our Phoenix is just the basic, because it's very rare that she's going to do the basic, right? You do the special, you do the ultimate, and then you do the special again, and only after you do the basic. And Phoenix is kind of slow after she loses the speed up. Okay, so that's the T4s for Phoenix, everyone except the basic. And now we have X23. X23 on her own, she's very, very powerful, but depending on which X-Men characters you put together with her, she's gonna be even better. And you actually don't even have to put her together with any X-Men characters. She's just so powerful that you can even slot her on Masters of Evil or on New Warriors or anything. Like, she's really so strong that you can really plug and play her anywhere, especially if you plug and play her on a place where you can use her as a striker. That's going to be very important. So on the basic, she's going to get guaranteed evades, more piercing damage. That right away, it's amazing. And she's going to apply bleeds to the enemies. Then with the special, she's going to gain stealth, she's going to gain death proofs. So she's going to be more similar to the Let's Strike, and that's going to increase immensely her survivability, because on top of the evades, she also has the death proofs, healing on turn, and now she also has drain on the ultimate. Speaking of the ultimate, when you do the ultimate T4, you're going to get more piercing damage on each of the attacks. This attack will have 10% drain, so this is why the extra piercing damage is going to be important. And if you have 2 or more X-Men allies or X-Force, you're going to apply trauma to the enemy. That is the last target you attack. This is good because it's going to make sure that all the bleeds stick, or depending on which target stays alive. After, you can apply more negative effects to them and make sure that they're not going anywhere. And finally, we have the passive must have T4 for X23, because she's going to get more speed bar whenever enemies drop below 50% health, more focus to X-Force and X-Men allies, and while she's in stealth, she's going to get a 50% more crit chance. So once again, depending on which characters you are pairing up with X23, or depending on if there is a room bonuses that gives stealth or not, she might have increased value. So in terms of the T4s for X23, unfortunately, is all of them. And you can see this on my tier list, or on this infographic. So once again, all the T4s for Colossus except the basic. For Jubilee, most of the T4s, maybe not the passive. For Kitty Pryde, most of the T4s, maybe not the passive as well. For Phoenix, everything except the basic. And for X23, all the T4s for sure. Now, in terms of the ISO weight for defense and for offense, it really depends on the composition of the entire team. You could use Colossus as a striker if you have him together with Kitty Pryde, because his ultimate allows Kitty Pryde to assist, and then he's going to do striker ISO weight and give himself buffs and other things. Then Jubilee, I think you always want to use her as a skirmisher, because she's slow and you are really relying on negative effects rather than her damage output or raider or anything like that, because the only ability that attacks multiple targets is the ultimate, and she's too slow, so definitely not a raider. Maybe striker for Jubilee, but really depends if you're using an offense. Otherwise, the striker as a weight doesn't make sense. Kitty Pryde, you can use her as a skirmisher, as a healer, as a fortifier, as a striker, even as a raider. Kitty Pryde, you really can use her with whichever ISO weight you want, and she's always going to be powerful. The healer ISO weight very strong, skirmisher very strong, striker very strong. The striker gives that speed up to other allies, including Colossus. So that's going to be the preferable in situations where you can use her as a striker. With Phoenix, you can use her as a skirmisher, so she spreads the negative effects with her special when she's in normal Phoenix. And the striker as a weight, it's okay. I think the skirmisher right now for her is the best one because she's throwing all those negative effects to the enemies, and you definitely want those negative effects to land. And X23, you can use her as a raider or as a striker, it doesn't really matter. Striker is better when you're controlling the character, raider is better when the AI is controlling the character, that's why it is on defense. Once again, the characters you should get up the most is Phoenix and X23. The other characters still have value when you gear them up, especially Kitty, Pryde and Colossus. Jubilee is the character that is really less relevant when it comes into the gear because of what she does with her kit. And that's pretty much it, but this should be sort of the priority for gear. X23, Phoenix, then Colossus, maybe Kitty, Pryde and Jubilee. And once again, this is not a team, so don't pay attention to this position. You are supposed to use these characters with other characters, not as a whole team. But with this rework, these characters become way more powerful when it comes to Blitz. In terms of arena and raids, they're not really necessary for that. In terms of Dark Dimension, you could use Colossus and Kitty, Pryde in Dark Dimension. The problem is that these characters are too expensive. So use for Dark Dimension 3 and 4, but 5 and 6 and 7 I would definitely not recommend. In terms of Alliance Wars, at least for now, we have this value, 3 stars mid, you can beat some B tier, C tier teams, but I still need to do some more testing to see if they have extra value. X23 is really the only character that shines in all other game modes. Avengers Tower is a little bit more forgiving than Alliance Wars because you are not subjected to some kind of meta and you can decide for sure which characters you want to attack and benefit from the characters you are attacking. And then you have Cosmic Crucible, at least for now. Jubilee seems to have the most value together with X23. Phoenix, Colossus and Kitty, Pryde might have additional value in the future. Once again, I need to do some extra testing with these characters to see if if I finally figure out the teams that Scopely wants to bring to the table. And I really believe that I found them out. But this is the information that you need to know in order for you to work on your new and reworked X-Men characters. Once again, I think there is something here for us to take advantage of. The problem is that these characters, as you guys saw, required tons and tons and tons of T4s. We are looking around 2,000 to 3,000 T4s investment on these reworked characters. Then we also have the fact that these characters require a lot of uniques that are also used by very specific meta characters like Apocalypse, like the new Cabal team, and like other powerful teams as well. And then we also have the gold investment, T4 investment, gear investment overall. The investment is just so big, and while the kits are not terrible, they are just not amazing that makes you to rush for it. And if you really don't have to rush for it, is there even any point? Because you might get to the point where when you finally can afford to get up these characters, they're no longer relevant. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to be the end game here, but make sure you check out the channel because once again, you're going to have some tier crafted teams to see if you can really squeeze the value out of these characters. And that's going to be all for now, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share this video with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Triforce content, and I'll catch you guys later.